Hello and welcome to Two-A-Day on your Packer Link Up. Today is Saturday, August 23rd, and you're watching the 5 o'clock edition. Well, a little more in-depth recap of last night's game against the Broncos. Aaron Rodgers with a great showing, 18 of 22 in passing for 193 yards, bringing the Packers to a 27-24 win over Denver last night. Rodgers led 4 scoring drives of the 5 possessions that he had, which is just absolutely great. A couple field goals, but also the touchdown to Donald Driver, 10 yards out, and a quarterback sneak to score for Aaron Rodgers on the day. I think he had a great game. He was getting the ball out quicker, and it showed. He talked about being more in the flow of the game this time and getting to his checkdowns quicker. So Aaron Rodgers, a good shout out to Aaron for a great game. To quote Aaron, he said, "I think I'm getting more comfortable. It's been a good preseason so far. A lot of growing as a player, and I think tonight was a good step for our offense. After last week, and to get that kind of time I got tonight, we really needed to take a step forward, and I think we did that." So Rodgers happy with his performance, and rightly so. I believe his passer rating was in the 100 plus, 140s, 147, I think. And that is just terrific, and we want to see more of that. Good to see, like I said last week, if the receivers start catching more balls and Rodgers starts getting more out on time, we're going to see those numbers go up exponentially because, A, he's getting the ball out faster, and B, the receivers, when he does get them there, need to catch the ball, and they did that. Other than James Jones had a drop, but other than that, pretty much a just all-around good showing for the Packers on offense. Coach McCarthy, interviewed after the game, said that Rodgers was smart with the football and good on third downs, and those third down conversions, as we all know, are all important for success on the football field. You've got to get those third down conversions to at least get yourself into scoring territory and get those field goals or touchdowns. McCarthy did comment on the big drive against the defense and said that it was disappointing, that they didn't tackle well, and that's something that just needs to be corrected. He said Greg Jennings looked good, played at full speed, and had a good week of practice. It was good to see Greg out there. He talked about some of the injuries. He said he didn't know much about Josh Sitton, but he said it was a knee, and I guess we'll see more further evaluation this week. We'll go ahead and keep up on that for you, try to get you the word on where Josh Sitton is, because that's going to be important as we solidify the offensive line for the season starter against the Minnesota Vikings. Satari Bigby had an ankle injury that apparently is no big deal. Collins looked like he had a bad injury. That was a neck stinger that, which is not a serious injury. It's one of those, though, that can kind of stick with you and hamper a player for quite a while. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. James Jones also had an injury, but Coach McCarthy said he could have returned. They just kept him out just to be safe. So they also interviewed Aaron Rodgers after the game. A-Rod said that he had good tempo. They were getting the ball out quickly, and the offense was making some plays. He said he took more checkdowns, as I mentioned, and would pass the ball then to B-Jack and let him get it in the hands of his playmakers and let them make a play. And that's what Brandon Jackson did for him, and that's also what Jermichael Finley did with his nice long run after the catch. He said that they did run the ball pretty well and made some plays in the passing game, and really, at this point, that's all you necessarily have to have because this is the preseason. You want to see them playing well as a unit. It's not as much about individual performance. So my thoughts after watching Aaron and McCarthy and seeing the game and checking out the highlights again, the offense, we still need the offensive line to be solidified. So if we solidify that offensive line now, and our receivers are catching the balls Aaron gets to them, and Aaron is getting the ball to them quicker, we are going to see marked improvement. Remember, we saw nothing of Ryan Grant yet on this team, and he's been standing on the sidelines getting ready to play. So when we make the addition of Ryan Grant, if our O-line is solidified at that point and playing better, we are really going to see, once again, another exponential step in the right direction, I think, for our offense. And it's going to be important. If we don't see that, then we leave Aaron Rodgers open to the possibility of injury, Ryan Grant to the possibility of injury. We have more trouble with Rodgers scrambling, rolling out, putting the ball up across his body, possibly being out of position, and you look for more interceptions. And not just that, but receivers having to go up high after the ball and taking those shots in the ribs that tend to add up when you get to game 10, 11, 12 in the season that don't seem as important in the preseason and in games 1 through 8. So there is still work to be done, but overall you just can't say enough about a team that bounces back from a terrible showing. It showed a lot of pride, it showed a lot of guts, and they just plain played well. And so it gives Packers fans the impression that the sky is the limit for this team, that they can be a playoff contender. Now, I don't think any of us, after one preseason game where they played well again, are totally sold on the idea that this is the team we're going to see on the field every week.